Marcus stood at the Greyhound station in Atlanta with a one-way ticket in his pocket and a bag that had seen better days. He'd been couch hopping since his last job folded. Now, at 26, he was betting everything on a cousin who promised work in Chicago. The terminal smelled like old fries and damp clothes. A woman argued on the phone behind him. A toddler screamed nearby. He sat in silence, watching buses come and go, each one a possible escape. His phone buzzed. A message from his sister. Come back home. We'll figure it out. But Marcus had already figured it out. He was leaving. When the bus finally arrived, he boarded slowly, choosing a seat near the back. As the doors closed, he looked out at the lights of Atlanta one last time, wondering if he'd return. The engine growled to life, and just like that, he was on his way, chasing. The ride stretched out like the road itself, flat, gray, endless. Marcus stared out the window as fields, towns, and silence passed by. A kid behind him kicked his seat. An older man near the front coughed into a handkerchief for hours. At rest stops, he stretched his legs and bought cheap coffee he couldn't really afford. The bus rolled through Nashville before sunrise, then St. Louis by mid-afternoon. Each new city was just lights and signs. None of them were home. He thought about his mom, who used to say, "You got strong legs, boy. Use 'em." So he did. He stayed awake the whole ride, heart racing with both hope and fear. Chicago was getting closer, and he still didn't know what waited on the other side, but he wasn't turning around. Not now, not ever. He arrived at Chicago's Union Station late at night. The city air hit him like a wall. Cold, sharp, electric. Skyscrapers glowed in the distance, but the sidewalks near the station were littered with people sleeping rough. He pulled his hoodie tight and walked 2 blocks to a corner store, using their Wi-Fi to call his cousin. No answer. Again, he waited an hour outside before accepting it. He'd been ghosted. He sat on the curb, phone at 5%, nothing but a bus ticket stub and a nearly empty wallet. For a moment, fear crept in. But then a man pushing a shopping cart handed him a sandwich. "You good, young blood?" Marcus nodded. "Yeah, I'm good." It wasn't pride, it was choice. He looked at the skyline and knew he'd figure it out, like always. Marcus found a cheap motel through a woman working the store's counter. "Don't leave anything outside," she warned. The room smelled like old smoke and bleach. He laid his bag down, turned the heat up, and stared at the ceiling. That night, he applied for 5 warehouse jobs online using spotty motel Wi-Fi. The next morning, he walked miles in boots that were too thin for Chicago's slush, asking stores if they were hiring. He got a call back from a temp agency by Friday. It was minimum wage, but it was something. He bought instant noodles, duct taped his boot soles, and got to work. It wasn't the dream, but it wasn't the end either. Every night he made a list. Wake, walk, apply, repeat. 1 week in, and he was still here. 3 weeks turned into 2 months. Marcus was still working night shifts at the shipping dock, loading boxes while others slept. His hands were blistered, but his paychecks were steady. He got a small room in a shared flat on the south side. Nothing fancy, just space to sleep and dream. One morning, after a long shift, he walked to the lake. The sun was just rising over Lake Michigan, turning the water gold. For the first time since he left Atlanta, he didn't feel like he was running. He sat on the bench, took out his phone, and called his mom. She picked up on the first ring. No anger, just silence. Then, "You okay?" He smiled. "Yeah, Ma, I'm okay." He wasn't rich, he wasn't famous, but he was standing on his own, and that counted for something. Chicago didn't break him, it built him. Like, subscribe and click on the bell for more interesting stories. Thank you.